Good evening. Could everyone please be seated? I am Orange County District Attorney David M. Hoovler, and at this time I am going to introduce our Sheriff, Paul Arteta, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Sheriff Arteta.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our County Clerk, Kelly Eskew.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to stand here tonight to introduce our county executive to you. He's one of my best partners in government. We work very well together. I am so happy that I live in Orange County with such a wonderful county executive. And here is Steve Neuhaus.
Thank you, Cal. All right, guys. All right, so great to see everybody. Quick mic check, I'm good? In the back? All right. Well, I know you guys can hear me, but all right, good. So first off, welcome to the 2025 State of the County Address. I'm super proud to be your county executive. I want to start, before I say anything, just to thank my staff. I've really worked them hard over the last couple weeks to make sure we got this, really where we give a snapshot of where we are in the county. I could sit up here, I know I'm going to traumatize you guys because it's absolutely gorgeous out. A lot of people are watching this at home more comfortably, or they're going to watch this later on, because it's just a gorgeous day in Orange County. And anybody who knows me, before I do the State of the County Address, I always run and do exercises on a Heritage Trail. So you see me drinking water like Marco Rubio did a couple years ago. Stand by. But we really have a beautiful county to be proud of, and really we have a beautiful government that we've built together. And this is really, it says the Steve Neuhaus State of the County Address, but this is really your state of the county. So let's rock and roll, let's get into it. So if you take away anything, if you start drifting off, you say, oh my God, did I leave the oven on? Who's picking up the babies for the babysitter? And what's going on with this or that? We have less debt than we've had in the last 12 years. We have a smaller sized government without any layoffs, a lot different than you see going on in Washington and other places. We have a lower tax rate, which gives relief to everybody, whether you're rich, poor, in the middle class, or a business. And it actually, a lower tax rate applies to everybody. Then we have a lower tax levy, so we're actually collecting less dollars than we did in the past. We have safer schools. We're going to get into that. My biggest priority as county executive is public safety. I need to make sure that we're safe. Every week we see a school shooting. We're going to talk about that real quick. Major investment on infrastructure. Most of you drove on 17 on the way up here. It's an embarrassment. New York State infrastructure is horrible, and I get it. Next year's the 250th anniversary of our country. Maybe they want to get our roads back to the way they were back 250 years ago. Actually, probably be an improvement than Route 17. But we're going to talk about our infrastructure. We're going to talk about the Orange County Emergency Management, and we have a top-notch team. We're going to talk about that quickly. And then, of course, protecting open space in our parks. So I can't get into these speeches without telling you how we pay these bills, right? Where does the money come from? How are we able to lower the tax rate? Well, we were very pro-economic development, so we're pushing businesses and helping them as best as possible. So when they are successful, when our community is successful, and they're able to pay for things, our sales tax goes up. So it allows us to basically give the people property tax relief. So the biggest chunk of revenue to keep this train running is from sales tax. Most of you have heard this before, but I got to keep telling you because the percentages change. Where does it go? Contractual. We have many relationships with nonprofits, many of which that are in danger right now because of just a change, right? It's a change of government. A lot of things are on the table. There's a lot of uncertainty. I've spent a lot of my time since January meeting with nonprofits to make sure that if they get impacted by federal dollars or state dollars, the county will keep those services to our people. We're going to talk about that. Then the rest goes to obviously paying the bills, right? Our employee benefits, we share sales tax with municipalities. Now, I mention that because many counties in New York State do not share their sales tax. They just keep it for themselves. I think Putnam County is considering sharing it right now with their local towns. And I see some of my supervisors like Denise Quinn in the audience, and I know she appreciates that. So I talked about, and by the way, this is not just a rosy, everything is great. I'm going to talk about a little bit of everything going on. I tell you exactly, these are factual things based on third-party validators. So our property tax rate is the lowest it's been since before I was around 51. So that's as far back as we could go back. This gives direct relief to everybody. Our tax base is strong. And again, this matters because when you go in other places, and I bring this up in the past, like the Rust Belt in New York State, where people are voting with their feet and they're leaving New York in droves, that tax base is not as strong. Their economic development is not robust. So our mortgage tax, so this is that other barometer. This means that Kelly Eskew, our clerk, is seeing less closings. And we know that because we're going to talk about affordable housing. Our sales tax revenue, as I talk about, look at the way it just continues to go up. That can be impacted by an economic turndown. And we're all concerned about that, and we need to talk about it. So let's just talk about the budgeted sales tax. So we're expecting about $395 million. Last year we collected. We shared over $100 million with our local municipalities. That's about $1 billion in the last 10 years that your local town, village, and city, depending on where you live, was able to share in our success, right? That's what it's all about. Unassigned fund balance. So this is our rainy day fund, right? So $21 million. Now we're up at about 184. It's a moving target. It's always going up and down. But this gives us the cash flow to be able to pay for things. So when you guys were nervous, and I was nervous last month, when we see, about 2 weeks ago, I saw the CFO for Moody's, one of the financial raters, say it's likely that the United States is going to head into a recession. I worry about that. You worry about that. This gives us a little bit of an insulation to absorb a hit. It also gives us a hit if something happens to one of our nonprofits. I met with Fearless, which handles some of our survivors of domestic violence. If they're grant funded, which they are, and some of their funds are impacted by New York State or the federal government, we have the ability to help them to make sure that our residents are not left behind. So why does good fiscal responsibility and good budgeting matter? Well, I mentioned a little bit, New York State government. So the state budget has not been passed. It's late, right? They're fighting with the federal government. The federal government wants to cut Medicaid funds. New York State's one of the biggest spenders of Medicaid. When the state has problems balancing their budget, they push it off to the counties in unfunded mandates. So my budget commissioner, director in the back, Deb, and my finance commissioner, Kerry, know this. Because midstream in the middle of a year, 2 years ago, the state government said, oh God, we're short on Medicaid. Let's hit Orange County and the rest of the counties with $10, $20, $30 million in an unfunded mandate. So we have to be careful. And this is a perfect year to blame each other because the feds and the state are not getting along. The next thing is the federal government. The tariffs have an impact on this county. If the plan that the new administration doesn't work as they say it's going to work and doesn't turn around, and we have these market up and downs like we've had in the last couple of years, what happens? There's really two economies out there. There's people that are poor and suffering and spending less at restaurants, and there's some that are still doing well, but they will react to Fox News, to CNN, to MSNBC, 2, 4, 6, and whatever. Pick your news agency, your online agency. They will react by not spending. It also can impact by people that are getting laid off. We've already started interviewing and pushing people that have been laid off by the federal government in our area, our residents, to get jobs here with us or with the private sector. The global economy, that's pretty much goes without saying. I mentioned that, what the tariffs could do to us, what it could add to the cost of us on our infrastructure projects, the cost for steel, the cost on raw materials that we import in. These are all factors I have to take in, the county legislature has to take in when we budget and try to plan on big capital projects. So our fiscal report card, I like third-party validators. I can tell you everything is great, I can tell you everything's terrible, but it really matters on what the experts say, right? So Standard & Poor's, which is a household name, S&P 500, you know it, they did an evaluation of us last year. They gave us a AA+, the best rating we've ever gotten. Gave us great budgetary performance language, telling us how we're doing a good job, strong management environment. Because we can spend as much as we want, we can do major changes and be reckless, but we can be conservative and get ratings like this. Why does it matter? New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, probably one of the most respected people in state government, has given us a score of 0 fiscal stress. That is a lot different than it was years ago, as recently as 2020 and earlier. We came in here 12 years ago, and it was high fiscal stress with a negative outlook from our bond raters. We're now getting third-party validators that saying you guys are on the right trajectory. Less debt, this is a big deal. Everybody's been told since you were in elementary school, when a president runs or a governor runs, Democrat, Republican, I'm going to cut the size of government, I'm going to cut your taxes, and I'm going to, and I'm going to reduce your debt. This is an example of us actually doing it. $58 million in less debt than we did before. Our county clerk does a wonderful job. She really is the face of the county. The people see her. She's a first floor office, has 240,000 DMV transactions last year. And I put these numbers in here for you because you see the increases. You're going to see this with our other departments and our agencies. They're seeing an increase in traffic for the most part, right? She's now selling Easy Pass. This mobile DMV has been a tremendous success. They had over 100 people waiting online in Cornwall yesterday because people are now freaked out about the New York State enhanced license. The window closes. So they've been really working overtime to get this done. Court papers are up more than 60%. Passport office has tripled in recent years. She hosted the first inaugural Global Entry Day. And the naturalization ceremonies are the best, seeing people from all over the world become U.S. citizens. Organ donation registration, it's an important thing. It's tough to talk about, but it saves people's lives. Our sheriff, who you saw came out here, look at the increases, 68% in traffic stops, summons. All the levels are going up. One went down by 50%, the SOG search warrants, but the SOG barricaded subjects, this is Special Operations Group, went up 33%. Let's talk about other notables that they do. 66 school security deputies, so that's 27 schools, have our people in there, our sheriff's deputies. Now, local towns are in some of them too. My kids go to Chester. Chester police are there. My biggest fear as a county executive, like I said to you, is not having everything it takes when we have an active shooter situation. It's happening all over. You guys see it all the time. It's been happening for years. We have 9 new K-9 teams. They were part of an Orange County drug task force that worked with the ATF. They tackled the largest illegal gun trafficking case in county history. 26 defendants, 24 illegal firearms, 11 kilos of cocaine, and a $3 million crime ring that was going on. Just phenomenal work. I will show you a cute picture with the dog, right? Politician has to put the Labrador Retriever. That dog is named Yoda, and that is our Sergeant Jeremy Yella. We had a number of fatal incidents this year, and I am front and center with emergency management, with my emergency management team. We had a young man that was killed during the firefighting in Greenwood Lake. He was a New York State employee. We were not called onto the scene until after the fatality. At that fatality, that dog was there as a comfort dog for the many men and women that were fighting alongside their comrade that was killed. And if you think it doesn't matter, you got to see it firsthand. It's a phenomenal thing, so we have a lot of fun. And people know I'm allergic to dogs now. I'm getting shots, but you can imagine how I broke out after that kiss. Our district attorney, who we just saw up on the stage, very busy as well. Look at these numbers. Had 3 murder trials with 3 convictions in 2024. Outfitted a whole courtroom with state-of-the-art technology. Cracked down on illegal guns, drugs. This is the case I was talking about earlier. The largest in gun trafficking case in the county's history. They formed the Hudson Valley Arson and Explosive Task Force. Property crime is down 37%. Violent crime is down 13%. These are the trends we want to see. And our county is a safer county. So they're doing a great job along with our law enforcement. Emergency services, again, near and dear to my heart. We have a number of divisions. We have emergency management, we have fire, we have police, we have emergency medical services, and we have emergency communications, or 911. So we do major training. We take this seriously. We are more advanced than any other county in the state of New York. So it's not just the people that have the nice little logos and the windbreakers that say emergency management. Every department in the county is involved with emergency management. We train DMV workers to be call takers for people that need emergencies. When Highland Falls had no power and they were out of their homes and they needed help and they didn't know who to call, we could surge with different staff and departments. The county law department, you name it, steps up. But you have to know what you're doing. You don't want to just take calls and say, I don't know what to do. So what we've done is trained on a regular basis, and now since we've had a lot of turnover over the years with new employees, we're training on a regular basis, and the culmination is going to be a full-scale exercise in June. But we do this on a regular basis. So we had 8 emergency operations center activations. That's what we call additional resources here to handle an emergency. That was up from the year prior. We do a citizen preparedness class here, but we also started pushing it out. We had one recently in Montgomery where we train people and talk to regular civilians. If you're out of power, how long does it take to boil water to make sure you could drink it? What are the types of things you need to survive? Orange County, let me talk about Newburgh. One night I got a call, it was 10 o'clock at night, I was at the gym, and 911 called me and said, City of Newburgh has been hacked, it was a major cyber attack, they have no communication for fire, police, and EMS. Within an hour or two, staff from this office and our IT department responded to the City of Newburgh, provided them with satellite technology, computers, phones, so they're capable of responding to the people that called for help. This is the type of thing that we do and we prepare for. We've held drone exercises. That's the new thing. It's the way of the future. Our fire, this is great stats because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people come from New York City and think that you have a full-time fire department in every place, they're going to be there, and you have a full-time EMS. So these are real numbers. So the amount of incidents just in 16 to 24 is up 20%. The firefighters, we have 153 that are paid. We have 2,100 that are volunteer. Without the volunteers, we would be really in horrible shape. And it would cost your local towns and cities tremendous amount of money. The non-uniformed civil volunteers, we have 500 of them. So our hazmat teams, look at the calls, up 10% from last year. We hosted 170 classes. We had over 1,000 firefighters, 32 hours. This would cost the taxpayers a tremendous amount of money. Later on, I'm going to talk about how we offer in Orange County the maximum deduction for tax break, property tax break for firefighters and EMS and also for veterans. The state of New York should make it more. We're limited. We're up to the state cap right now. I think that in order to survive as volunteer firefighters and EMS, we have to be 25%. And we also need to be 25% school taxes as well, not just county, not just town. Fire calls, again, they've gone up. We're busy. We're investing in the fire services. We're investing more money in our fire. The county legislature has been rock solid. We have unwavering in our support for buying all new equipment, all new types of training. This is the fire over at Jennings Creek, the one in Greenwood Lake. Something that we don't see on the East Coast. This is something they see regularly out in California. We came on the scene, again, after that fatal fire. We were fighting 3 other fires that day. I remember Commissioner Vinnie Tancaselli and I were at the Monroe Lakeside, my old firehouse, in the morning of that Saturday. By Saturday night, Pete Sirigliano, our commissioner, Vinnie Tancaselli, and myself were on the scene of where the young man that died from the state of New York was. After that, it got progressively and progressively worse. So this is over 5,000 acres were burned. Here is, let me just play the video first. It's our school bus camera, school bus arm, whatever you want to call it. I call it school bus camera. These are people, hundreds of them, passing schools, barely running over our kids getting on the bus. It's a great system. I will tell you, we pushed hard on it, and Rob Doss, our Deputy Commissioner for Police, has run on point for me with that, and school districts are begging for us to do this. We love working with the school districts. And look at this, this is your kids or your grandkids that could be getting hit. And I don't think people are maliciously on a tirade to run over people. They're just not paying attention. You know, distracted drivers. So when you get this ticket in the mail, 98% of them don't repeat it again. That to me is worth it, right? So, like I said, 10 school districts are doing it, 6 more on the way, a bunch still asking for it. Stop DWI. We had a wonderful, wonderful program, a couple of them in the audience, about a month ago. We had great speakers, and we also had 400 law enforcement officers from 7 counties, as well as all other professionals, mental health responders. The reason why I say that's important is Orange County, was hosting 7 other counties. They want to come to see what we're doing, what we're offering. And I'm super proud of the people that work here. So I said Rob Doss, he's our Deputy Commissioner for Police Services. Great guy, hired him a couple of years ago, was a retired chief from New Windsor. 37 different police agencies he's responsible for working with to make sure everybody's firing on the same cylinders. Our niche implementation, this is something that he got, this is one of the babies he inherited. This is a new software system that law enforcement officers are going to be utilizing across the state of New York. Only 3 of them have it right now that I know of. Suffolk County, the New York State Police, and now Orange County. We just started launching it. And that was due to Rob Doss and our IT department, which I'm going to get to. Law enforcement numbers continue to go up. Emergency medical services. So we have a new commissioner. Rich, he's in the background in there. He's from Montgomery. He's a great guy. And emergency medical services is really one of our biggest vulnerabilities right now in the state of New York. They actually call EMS 911 because they need help. So you have a lot of volunteer services that are falling apart, and you're having a mixture, a wild west of responses across the state. Some of them, the counties take it over, in the small counties. Some of them, there's kind of like a Frankenstein thing, like you have a little bit similar in Orange County. You have some paid, like the city of Newburgh and the town of Chester have paid volunteer agencies that do it. Then you have like my friend Denise Quinn has from Wawayanda, and I'm only picking on her is because A, she's the president of the Association of Town Supervisors and Mayors, so she has to lead a big pack of mixed leaders that are great, but she has a paid system in her town that offers different services. There's basic life support, there's advanced life support, there's different hours, there's a lot of moving parts. The calls are getting bigger. The position for Rich is now a full-time spot. We're doing major drills on a regular basis with our partners, and we're working with local EMS companies as well as municipalities as they establish these tax districts. I think when taxpayers think about what they need to pay for basic services, they want to make sure a cop comes to their house, they need it. They want to make sure an ambulance, I do CPR classes here, and you don't want to be doing CPR on somebody with nobody coming in a quick period of time. The average calls, like I say up there, are different times. We had 80 graduates from our EMT course. Our sheriff who's here with us, one of the things we're launching, in not only I think the county government's going to do is launch a flag car system where you have people paid by the county doing it, but the sheriff's office has at least 3 of his deputies right now in class to get trained to be EMTs. So not only are they out doing public safety, they might also be responding to a medical call. So I'm getting through here. So we had 810 complete first aid and CPR courses. I mentioned this young girl just saved somebody from one of our classes earlier on. I'm going to talk about that later. SUNY Orange is our partner, and I think Dr. Young is here. And not only are they educating right now, but they're going to expand their portfolio, considering to start training and studying our people here in Orange County. So we have some of the classes. We're looking at the option of doing more. EMS calls, again, population's up over 400,000. Calls are up. 911. These are the people that answer your call, right, when you need it. 911. We have a great team of people here. The calls have went up over 300,000 calls, and it's up 4.3% from the year prior. $6 million we'd invested in more technology and advanced equipment. So we're now providing dispatch services for West Point Fire and EMS as well. It's been talked about for decades. It's a great thing. We have the best people behind the wall. They can handle it. Probation, they oversee over 1,700 people on probation. It's part of our society, right? They save $40,000 by training people in-house here. We've implemented a Warrant Wednesday, trying to engage the public to help us find people that are not complying. We provide supervision and diversion services for juveniles to try to keep them from being repeat offenders. And now we've participated, like other counties are doing around the state, and this is the value of being involved with other county executives and talking about best practices, is you have probation officers walking around your retail outlets. Over the years, we've had a rash of robberies. So now you have another law enforcement presence. So we started experimenting with that at the Galleria over in Walk Hill. And we have an increased GPS for monitoring people. Our county attorney doing a phenomenal job. So we initiated a lawsuit against New York City to stop it from busing asylum seekers to Orange County. We've been very successful in court. Eventually, New York City took back all of those folks that were up here, and my executive order from 2003 is still active today. Our hotels could just not handle it. Our county, our towns, and our cities could not handle it. We saved the county, the county attorney's office did, $50 million. We get sued all the time. People look at the county as deep pockets, so we really depend on good litigators that work for us to protect us, and they're doing a phenomenal job. We sued the New York State for overreach to protect county government, and we've been strengthening the county's procurement practices and policies. We're trying to get ahead of our peers to make sure that when we're buying stuff, we're doing it in the most proper way possible. Prosecuted over 250 juvenile delinquency matters. People don't realize that the county attorney's office has to deal with juvenile justice in many cases. And we initiated over 700 child abuse and neglect cases in family court. So together with the health department, we were able to do some illegal tobacco and vaping sale raids. I participated as a observer on a number of them. I have to tell you, the Village of Chester department was one of the leading police agencies to get us to start doing it. A retired New York City police officer that we picked up that worked for the village, doing tremendous stuff and shutting down operations that are illegal and mainly hurting juveniles, mainly selling to juveniles that they shouldn't be selling. So our finance department, our interest and earnings, we shop around. We try to get the best interest rates so we get the best return for the county. We're not just trying to, we shop around, we do the best for it. So I'm super proud of them. They have been recognized by GFOA for their government excellence in finance reporting. What does that mean? It's transparency. When the public looks at our finances and when the comptroller or any type of auditing agency looks at our stuff, they want to make sure that we are an open book, and that's what our finance department does. They have a 90-plus Cash Vest Award for outstanding leadership and liquidity for over 5 years. So this is important stuff. So when we go to S&P or Moody's every year, I personally go. I don't think it's ever been done in history. It might have been 1 or 2 times. Every time since I've been county executive, I personally go and sit by the rating agencies, and they really hammer us with questions. And we have a big presentation. It's the budget director, the finance commissioner, and the 3 of us advocating for Orange County. And this stuff matters. When they know that we're looking at where we invest, when we know that we have a fund balance, when we know that the comptrollers is advocating and saying we have a great county with no fiscal stress. American Rescue Plan, ARPA, different counties use it for different types of money. So most of the schools in Orange County and across America are old. They're old buildings. Most of us have went to them. Some of them have changed their footprint or their designs inside. But one thing's for sure is they're made out of old brick and mortar. So if you ever been to your kids' play and you have your cell phone doesn't work in half the schools. Well, that's true for police, fire, and EMS when they respond to schools. So with the county legislature's blessing, we used millions of ARPA dollars to put repeater type of systems in all the schools so they have an antenna system. So now when first responders respond to your kid's school, and we have more on the list, we're continuing to do them, they will have the communications they need to provide the care as quick as possible for your loved ones. We've upgraded all our public works trucks and our equipment. We're super proud of our roads. I am a CB in the Navy. One of the things, our motto is we build and we fight. I get excited about a freshly paved road or a brand new built bridge. I see Brian Carey. Him and I cut the ribbon on one of his in his village. We constructed a new state-of-the-art medical examiner's office. Why is that important? 20, 30 years ago, we were doing a small amount of autopsies a year. We're doing almost 1 a day. The medical examiner's office we've had for the last 20 years was a Haagen-Dazs refrigerated truck and a hodgepodge of other things that looked like a couple people blindfolded put it together. And now you have families coming to pick up or identify their loved ones. That is not the appropriate way of doing things. That is why we invested it. On a regular basis, county executives from around the Northeast come check out this building, and they check out the medical examiner's building because they want to see how we're doing it because they're planning on doing it as well. The last thing I'll talk about is we paid, and this is just a sampling of what we use for ARPA money, is, again, the highly successful county clerk's mobile vehicle. Open space, near and dear to my heart. I see Jeremy in the back. You're the only one that looks out of place here. He's a great guy, and he's one of my biggest partners in the Orange County Land Trust, an avid trout fisherman like myself, and he and the Orange County Land Trust and the Open Space Institute has helped us as a county save over 1,000 acres just last year alone. We're looking at saving tens of thousands in the next year or two, where we have a ton of applications. Alan Sorensen, our county planner who's here, he's the one that actually goes through all the applications for open space in the county, and we're seeing a surge of activity from our local towns that are applying for open space funds. It's absolutely beautiful. You see Sugarloaf Mountain. It's been talked about for 30, 40 years to preserve. People are proud and happy that it's been saved. I had somebody stop me yesterday at the Goshen Diner asking, when can we use it? We're opening it up now. We're starting to open up trails to make sure that they stay where they need to and not intrude on people's private property. But we're going to do this all over the county. This is Bowmer Pond that we just did in Deer Park, a beautiful project with the city of Port Jervis and the town of Deer Park. Tom Fagione was out there, our county legislator. This is important stuff because they're not making more open space, and as you know, it is in significant threat of development. Our Parks and Recreation, this is a schematic of what we want to build at the Arboretum. This would be a small event center. It's absolutely beautiful, and we're looking to put it through the process right now, the county legislature. Again, everything I talk about has the blessing of 21 legislators that we work very hard together, of all parties. The top left is a view from Plum Point. Then we have obviously one of our golf courses. This is Thomas Bowl in the middle. And the reason why, and it's got scout tents all over the place, for the first time in at least a decade or two, we've had now the scouts in Orange County, your kids and grandkids, scouting on our parks again. And then the bottom is the Arboretum. Here looks like something from World War II. This is the former Camp LaGuardia homeless shelter. The buildings to the right with the roofs on are about to be taken down and have the roofs taken up, but this building is going to be pretty much the only thing that's going to be remaining. So what do we want to do with it? We've kicked this around back and forth for years. We've had people that came in and said, look, if you let us build 10,000 high-density houses here, we think we can preserve a few acres. The town of Blue Ring Grove said, hell no. The town of Chester said, hell no. And nothing's really happened on there. But we, as a community, believe that it should be another park. We haven't built a park the size of a Thomas Bowl in decades. We've had little parks pop up here, and I see Travis Ewald about to have a heart attack because this is more pressure for him, but he can handle it. He's got a great team. So here's what we're looking at as a concept. This was put together. Again, this isn't Steve Neuhaus's dream that he wakes up. I do have my kids help me when we look at trailblazing for Sugarloaf Mountain and other types of things, like what would you guys like to see here? Because those are our customers too. But this is a concept put together by the Open Space Institute. Mike Torelli from my office, as well as Jeremy from the Land Trust and Jim DeLawn, were active participants in putting this on. So what does it look like to the people in the county and the people on Facebook? This is kind of like a Winding Hills and Thomas Bull had a child, and that's the initial concept of it. So I think it's going to be great, and we have a lot of people that would use it. Our parks are busy, and people rent it out, and we have a list of people that want to utilize all our different aspects there. Planning, I mentioned Alan Sorensen, who's now a world traveler. He went to Taiwan with me recently. So he has secured $15 million to help us with transit operators and operations in the county. This is buses and all the other types of routes that we utilize. So since probably 20, 30 years that I've been involved in and out of government, I've seen most municipal buses, Orange County and anywhere else across the country, empty. For the most part, a lot of them are underutilized. So thankfully, Alan Sorensen and his team have been able to create a system, and you see me riding there, and Rob Rollinson, our senator, is the guy that told me, he's like, you got to get on these buses with me. So we rode on them earlier at the end of last year. Rebecca from my office rode with me to capture the pictures, and not only that, but the conversations. And I asked everybody on the bus, what are you doing here, where are you going? One was going to the doctor. One was going to a job. One was going to school. This picture is from the city of Newburgh, which has the highest unemployment in the county. Without having free busing, many of those people would not be able to keep their job. So working with the legislature, working with employment and training and Alan Sorensen and all the rest of our teams, we were able to offer free busing for the rest of the year. The state had given us money, it ran out, it's not around, it's there, it's gone. We said, forget it, we'll pay for it. Because the impact of people not getting to work, people of not getting to their medical providers, and the people not going to school is going to have a catastrophic impact on our society as well as their lives. To the right is the first 2 miles of the Scunning Monk Trail heading towards Washingtonville. So the county and high-density developers were planning on buying that property. It's been talked about for decades. The county was able to purchase that property, and we started clearing some of the trees on it. So some of the folks are a little nervous about the activity on there. I will tell you, I live on the Heritage Trail. I was there about an hour ago. It's absolutely beautiful. There's great people there, all different sizes, all different walks of life, all doing the same thing, enjoying a public park that is meant for them. And our friends in Washingtonville and New Windsor don't have this. They want it, and we're going to give it to them. And it's going to preserve all the open space around it, and it's going to allow them to live healthier lives. DPW, doing phenomenal stuff. I told you, this stuff gets me excited. So here's us in Cornwall, very complicated projects. Most communities, if I get any complaints from the building trade people, union and non-union, they said, Steve, can you have your guys not fix and build as much stuff? Because we'd like to do more of it. But don't worry, they have a laundry list of stuff that they can do it once the state starts funding their projects. But these are the beautiful bridges, our airport that we're doing. The bottom is the ribbon cutting for a medical examiner's office. Here's a part of our team up there. So I'm not trying to beat up New York State, but it's embarrassing. You got to take care of your home. If your county roads look like this, you would hold me accountable. So this is a New York State road, and they use a pavement index that basically tells you if your road is good or bad. You guys could just tell me by driving on it, but they have somebody that does and rates this. The New York State's average roads are 57. We're one of the worst in the United States of America. You know that. Orange County roads are 85. This is because the legislature and I believe in investing in infrastructure, period. This is our region. It's embarrassing. It's led to people's deaths. I'm sure there's personal injury lawyers that are waiting to or already filing lawsuits for people that are avoiding potholes and hitting other cars head on. We hear the calls. It's caused major accidents. And there's still no hope in sight for some of the infrastructure challenges in the state. We fixed 4 culverts. Again, it sounds like a culvert pipe, but it's really a bridge. 5 major bridges, which are the larger ones. We resurfaced 23 miles of road. And we do emergency inspections on 23 bridges and dams after we had the earthquake last year in April. People forgot about that. Oh, I'm sorry. Brian Carey's here. I want to make sure. I don't know what you were doing, Brian. You look like you were checking your phone or something, but you are there, and I made sure I gave you a shout out. But this is a bridge that really cut his village in half. And once it was repaired, people were really happy to be able to use it again. Affordable housing, major issue in our country, and major initiatives that we're doing here in the county. So the county itself, with using CDBG funds, has provided for over 1,300 affordable units just in the last 10 years, using affordable housing money from CDBG. Some people are still waiting to figure out how to use their money. We have over $20 million in home funding that has been utilized, $14 million in CDBG funds that are used to complete over 144 public infrastructure and public facility projects. What the heck is that, right? It's the crosswalks in the Village of Monroe. It's cammering sewer lines to see if they have any breaks in them. This is where those monies are being utilized. And we have a committee, and I'm not a big committee guy, but we have a committee made up of supervisors and mayors of all walks of life in the county that rate what money should be spent where. The county legislature has created a task force that our department heads are working on, so we're tackling this on all different aspects. Community development. Here's the city of Newburgh. I want to just hit on this. We spend a lot of our monies and a lot of our time in the city of Newburgh. $400,000 on a neighborhood stabilization project, 1.4 for a home funds, 900,000 for a home funds for another project, and then supporting Habitat for Humanity, which is making a difference. City of Port Jervis as well, 27 affordable housing units. We're there a lot with our CDBG and our community development offices, 24 Front Street, making major transformations there in the city of Port Jervis. not only just for people living, but also storefronts. So we have 4 storefronts in one building and 12 apartments, and now the downtown is looking wonderful. They have a boutique hotel right under construction, 68 housing units coming online. When we talk to the biggest manufacturers that want to come to Orange County, the newest companies, Port Jervis is usually the first municipality in Orange County out of my mouth. It's an old city that's looking for a little investment, and it's going through a rebirth. Economic development, here's me talking in Kaohsiung, the city in southern Taiwan, about a month ago with our county attorney and our planning commissioner. They have transformed a industrial city into a modern smart city concept, absolutely opening up their waterfront for development. The city of Newburgh looks gorgeous now. It could look 10 times more by implementing some of these things here. There's a lot of great opportunities. We started having discussions with some city leaders on some of the investment potential that exists today. But what are the other opportunities? The tech industry. I don't need to tell you this. Look at CNN, look at Fox, wherever you want to go to. Squawk Box, the biggest trend coming forward is the tech industry. It's been headquartered in Taiwan. They need to get a lot of their assets out of there. They're going to invest heavily in the country. I don't care what Joe Biden or Donald Trump said. Joe Biden had the CHIPS Act. Trump came in here and said, I don't like the CHIPS Act. He's going to be forced to do a CHIPS Act of his own kind. He can put his own stamp on it. I don't care. It's a big industry, and it's not going anywhere but here in the United States. We have 15 of the largest Taiwanese companies coming here to Orange County in the next 2 weeks to meet with us and kick the tires. The next is the film industry. We're filming right now in Chester. We're going to grow. We're actually have a major film expansion going on in one of our towns that we're going to be announcing in the next couple weeks. They're employing people. You saw me with Jimmy Fallon last week filming. He was honored to be here. He told Amanda, Dana, and I he's never been greeted by any place like Orange County was. We gave him all sorts of stuff. West Point came with us, gave him swag. Please come back. Thank you for being here. That's the way it goes. And they're going to continue to invest here. And one of the things we want to do, and you're going to be talking about it later with the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, is marry some of these film industries with jobs for your kids, for your grandkids. We're doing it already now. We have people, we have one student that we took from NFA last year that is getting begged to come out to MGM and the other main studios out in LA. We're trying to keep him to still live in Orange County. But I want him to do what he wants to do and all these other students. But if they get their start here and they stay here, great. If they get their start here and they go somewhere else, they'll remember their roots. Aerospace, it's already existing here, growing. Defense. I've been on every type of carrier there is in the U.S. Navy. Every destroyer, every cruiser. They all have parts on them from Orange County. Every American warship right now, every one of them has parts made in Orange County. Monroe Cable, different types of aerospace companies up in the town of Walk Hill being made in there now. Retail is a major thing. We're all spending. Whether you're buying stuff at the Commons or you're buying stuff on Main Street or if you're buying stuff online, it's expanding. Pharma life services continuing to boom. And then food and beverage processing, they're not going away. They're growing. They're part of our community. Tourism, $1.2 billion in visitor spending. It's growing. 100% occupancy during the busy months. A couple of years ago, we didn't have that. We're constantly pounding the pavement trying to get people to come here. They come here, they spend money. When they spend money, they spend a sales tax that every city and village gets to share. Occupancy tax, we're able to use that money to not only pay for tourism, but highlight what we have in Orange County. Instagram's doubled, successful rebranding. We saw the Pick New York, some of you have seen that already. Revived the New York's Marketing and Excellence Awards. I'm proud that our men and women that work for me are recognized for their great work. Over $133,000 in municipal tourism grants. So we share that money with the local towns, villages, and cities. Majority of the counties in New York State keep that money and say, that's ours. We share it with our local communities. They have new events. They want to start a film festival or a UFO festival, whatever it is, we'll help them. Air Show brings in over 30,000 visitors a year. We already have it lined up for later on this year. Veterans, we have the busiest cemetery in the county. So we have approximately 17,000 according to the VA. It used to be over 20,000. So I think those numbers from the World War II veterans that are passing away are impacting us. But we have approximately 17,000 veterans right now in Orange County. $1.2 million from our Veterans Affairs Office was secured for people that were owed benefits. That's real money and a real impact on people. Christian Farrell's here now. Him and I work very close together. We had 231 burials. I told you it was busy. 250,000 was secured for widows and widowers. 200 packages are delivered a week to veterans and their families. We're helping them out. We provide free rides to the VA and other services. We're now implementing, we're looking at this new trend that people are doing, Go Veterans Program. We're going to talk about something for seniors in a little bit. But this will help them get to other places because we live in rural areas. It doesn't make sense to have a bus in every place, but it does make sense to utilize technology and apps like we do for Uber. The picnic and resource fair in May and also the movie events, they're important because we get veterans to come out that are normally maybe not talking, maybe not engaging in some of the benefits that they need, and we have resource providers there. Every movie that starts, they get an address from Christian Farrell and talking about some of the stuff that we have to offer. Hey, do you have a disability? Has something changed that you need to be looked at? Do you have a loved one that needs, maybe some of their medals that they're missing? These are the type of things we like to engage with them on. We did the largest exemption for taxes, the county legislature and I. So now every veteran in Orange County will be able to take advantage of having a biggest tax break that is allowable by law right now. Our Youth Bureau doing great stuff. 18,000, I don't want to sound like Joe Pesci, but youths were served last year. And we have youth in government, which we love. We had 12 of the 18 school districts participate. That was a 30% increase. We're getting young men and women to get engaged in politics and government and how things work. And one of the things I pushed over the years was a CPR training for young kids, young men and women that are in schools. And we just had a class a couple days ago. That's where one of those pictures was just recently posted with me. A young girl in Washingtonville last year, a neighbor fell off his lawnmower. Nobody knew how to do CPR. She saved his life because of this. It's worth it. So the investment that my legislature and my colleagues put in, along with our teams at the Youth Bureau and Emergency Services, because we have awesome people that are teaching the class. Used to be playing Staying Alive by Bee Gees. Now they're playing the Darth Vader theme song. But whatever works, they're engaging people, they're learning, and they're saving people's lives. Office of the Aging doing great stuff. Danielle Diana Smith is doing a wonderful job. Been there for a long time. Brand new commissioner, brand new director. Over 83,000 seniors in the county, ages 60 and over, are living in the county. Now these are stats, but we serve over 850 meals a day. That's a lot of people. So these are people that can't maybe sustain for themselves. So 700 are delivered to their homes. 150 of them are on the congregate setting, like a dining hall or something like that. So we have 5 congregate dining sites right now. We have a lot of municipalities that are saying, hey, we'd like to do something in our county, in our town. So we'll try it. If it works, we'll keep funding it. We're doing that, implementing that new app that we're trying to look at, the Go Grandparent, which is basically like the Uber for grandparents, especially in the rural area. 425 retired senior volunteers, 450 seniors attended our health and fitness day. It's not just a day for them to get out and get lunch. They're meeting with 20 plus providers and talking about different things that they're entitled to, maybe problems. Maybe they're meeting with law enforcement on scandals and scams and how to protect themselves. Maybe they're meeting with providers on how to get healthier. These are the type of things we're looking to do. So we save, by having these volunteers that have been delivering food and helping us out in the Office of the Aging, over $1.2 million that we would have had to pay for employees. So the generosity of our residents are helping not only their fellow senior citizens, but save us money as well, the taxpayers. Okay, so medical examiner's building, we're going to take a quick tour.
Let's take a tour of the medical examiner's office right next to the Emergency Operations Center. As you walk in, you are greeted with a bright and modern space. With its modern layout, natural lighting, and clean aesthetic, the environment reflects a sense of professionalism and care. This is the family viewing room. It has a seating area and a special glass that can change from clear to frosted with the press of a button. This gives families privacy while still allowing them to see their loved one when needed. As we move from the main entrance, we step into the conference room, where important discussions will take place and bring experts together. As we move along the medical examiner's office, we come across the common area. This is a place where experts can work next to a beautiful view of Orange County. The radiology room offers a spacious layout with state-of-the-art imaging technology.
So I mentioned I go to a lot of emergencies that we have here and crises. So whether it be the flood that we had in West Point where we lost a young lady, the fire over in Greenwood Lake, the medical examiner's office is there too with me. And they're made up of very, very highly trained professional men and women. I said they've been working in a subpar office for the last 20 plus years. This is a professional setting. And more importantly than that, it's the residents of the county at their worst day of their life. They're coming to identify their loved ones, or they're coming to be told what happened to their loved ones. It's important stuff, it's sensitive stuff, and the county did a great job. I appreciate the legislature's partnership with me on this. Here's some of the other things, the great stuff the health department's doing. Family Center, they launched over in Newburgh, over 3,300 permits. This is an increase of 10. This is how busy our county is right now. 65 inspections were conducted at facilities. That's an increase of over 25%. Early intervention, this is for kids 0 to 3. The counties end up running that. It's an unfunded mandate by the state for the most part. The numbers have pretty much stayed steady or gone up a little bit. Mental health, 21 school-based satellite programs. So schools in our county have medical professionals that are mental health professionals to help young men and women when they need help, right? Suicide prevention trainings. We responded to 826 referrals. So I mentioned the disaster mental health team. Again, being involved in emergency management, we've had a number of young adults that have been killed in car accidents or whatever. The first thing we do is we have our emergency mental health teams at the schools, helping their peers, helping the families, helping the teachers cope with the disaster that they've been through. We are literally leading the state in some of the great things that we need to do for mental health. The last thing is over 50,000 people called 311 in there, in the 911 center. So if you look behind the wall where we have all our dispatchers that are answering your 911 calls, alongside them is a row of other people taking 311 calls. Non-emergency, but if it is an emergency, they can turn it over to an emergency operator. It's making an impact and it's getting people the services they need. Fearless, this is just one of our many nonprofits that we support and that we're concerned about with some federal cuts or state cuts, right? Over 1,100 hotline calls. This organization deals with helping survivors of domestic violence. Does incredible work. The people that work there do God's work. 38 different web chats, 28,000 advocacy services, 251 individuals received personal advocacy last year, 105 crime victims received referrals, and 419 cases involved child abuse and domestic violence. Over the years, this money for them to operate has been in jeopardy. And time again, the county has come in and filled that gap to make sure that they did not have any cuts. There was going to be no people available from this organization on Friday and Saturday nights if the county didn't put money into it. It's 100% support from the legislature to me, to our organizations to make sure that these things continue to be funded. I said a couple months ago, I did a couple meetings with nonprofits and talking about, they got warning orders, as Glenn Markey would appreciate, from some of their federal agencies that they work with that said, I don't know if your funding is going to be available. One of them was our community development. I met with all our staff there. I've been meeting with employees of the county and nonprofits to make sure that if they are ultimately cut or laid off, depending on what they provide for the county, we will do what we can to make sure that they're okay, and then also make sure that the services that they provide to the public are still being given. And that's whether it's the food bank, whether it's Fearless, whether it's any of the different nonprofits we deal with. Opioid settlement monies, the counties led the suit years ago. The state attorney generals jumped on it. We get money. We have a ton of money still coming in. Here's just a sampling of what we've used it for school and community-based prevention plans. We tried to look at it a couple ways, is to be able to treat people, but also be able to lead some advocacy to prevent people from getting hooked on opioids, housing, treatment to access. So we're utilizing that funds based on a committee of providers and nonprofits and employees on how to use that. IT, 2 years ago, our IT got no love. We depended on heavily from contractors. We hired a new leader who reset the table, gave the employees the inspiration and support that they needed, and now we're recognized all over the state. What does that mean? We're able to fix that program that the law enforcement needs. It's now been launched. We had our inaugural cyber summit not too long ago. We had over 26 counties. When other counties come to you, that means you offer something. We had the FBI there, we had the Secret Service, and we had the state police. I'll pick on Denise Quinn one more time because she's in the audience. I had a meeting here last fall with this New York NYPD, Cyber Command, FBI, and the Secret Service. We had invited all the town supervisors. 1 or 2 missed the meeting. Within 2 weeks, one of those people that missed the meeting was hacked. So this is why you got to stay on top of these things. This is why we do cyber summits. This is why we invest in IT. This is why we hired Glenn Markey to be a retired colonel. Has done a phenomenal job. So what does it do besides protect the county? We were able to help one of our school districts in Goshen when they were attacked. We were able to help the city of Newburgh, like I said earlier. At one point, within the last 6 months, we were under threat of being hacked, county government. They didn't break through our wall, but we utilized the Secret Service and the FBI and the New York State Police to bait the attacker, the hacker, to try to track where he was coming from, what type of techniques he was using to try to break into us, so we can try to help our colleagues as well as ourselves to build up our security. So it's done a phenomenal stuff. We had the global strike, global CrowdStrike attack. Everybody was impacted in the world. Airlines, everything like that. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, our IT people were in each office, resetting each computer, each tablet individually to get us back and running. Prioritizing the key offices like emergency services and the sheriff's office, and then obviously spreading out to the rest of the county government. Valley View doing another phenomenal job. So another call after midnight one night was we had 2 different nursing homes in Orange County had fires in their facilities within 1 week during this past winter. And Lawrence Ledoux, who's in the audience, I called him up, of course, after hours. When I call after hours, there's something wrong. And I said, look, we got a fire here, done. We'll take care of them. That's the type of leadership and the transformation that we've had at Valley View. Having our first CNA classes, investing and partnering with Orange Oyster BOCES, with SUNY Orange. Over 587 residents have utilized Valley View last year. Right now, we're putting together the first, an RFP that will really encompass the first major upgrades to Valley View in decades. It's an old facility. It's got a lot of old buildings. I just recently went through it from stem to stern with a number of legislators and department heads and with Lawrence Ledoux, our administrator. And we're going to put out an RFP to make the improvements to make sure that building and then some other type of enhancements that we're planning on doing to make it marketable and survivable. Employment and training, wonderful job with job fairs, 285 employers. There was a time where we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't getting employers, we weren't getting employees. It's now come back, the economy, this post-COVID world that we're still living in. Over 2,000 job seekers, 1,400 applications. The Welfare to Work program is working. 321 people we were able to get off welfare and give them a pathway to living on their own and being productive members of society. 30 plus years we've been doing the summer youth program. The county legislature approached them with expanding to do a new summer youth internship program that we're launching right now. It was passed unanimously yesterday in Ways and Means. It's going to open the door for more young men and women in Orange County to look at jobs and get experience to get back into the workforce. It's going to be wonderful. We're looking forward to it. A lot of departments stepped up. About a month or 2 ago, the state of New York, the governor fired a number of corrections officers throughout New York State, thousands of them. 30 plus of them were from our Otisville prison. I went up there with the sheriff one day and we talked to them. They said they're not going to be allowed back. They're getting fired. They said their medical benefits were being shut off immediately. 2 of them had wives that were expecting babies in the next couple months. We set up a job fair, our HR department, our employment and training. You see the pictures down below. Almost every one of the people fired came there. Some of them brought their spouses because they needed to try to get a job. Now, the one problem we had is that you can't do a transfer from the state of New York to the county with the exact job title, but we offer them other jobs, so we're going to continue to do what we can to make sure that they're not left behind. But this is the type of professionalism that you have. You have our commissioner of HR there. You have our staff after hours right by the clerk's office, making sure that every person got their time to talk, learn how to write a resume again, help them apply for jobs, offer them jobs in county government. One of the pregnant ladies I was referring to, the expecting moms, is working for Valley View right now. So, unemployment rate, we're beating not only the state numbers, but we're beating the federal numbers. 3.7% right now for unemployment. It's a moving target, but I like these numbers. These tell where Orange County is. Human resources, notables. So this is exciting stuff. 2,000 civil service exam applications and job postings are now online. We're getting digital, right? 47% more exams than 5 years ago. 30% more job applications compared to 5 years ago. Assisted in 39% more appointments from civil service lists than they were 5 years ago. 74% more job certifications than 5 years ago. And our Commissioner Chapman and Deputy Commissioner Tyak are the first in their department to earn the Society of Human Resource Management certifications. These are good things. All our department heads and their staff are advocating for more and more education. We offer education for management and the CSEA. And we finalized the implementation of the CSEA contract that was expired last year, so good stuff. Human rights, Anaudi's here, can never miss you in the audience. 57 educational events she presented at, attracted over 2,600 attendees. When she has events, they overfill. A lot of people say, when people are hitting you with 10 text messages the day of the event, that means that the participation rate is not high. She sold out. And I have to say, she got the Safe Harbor's Pillar of Community Award last year, so we're proud of what she does. Real property closed on the Sugarloaf Mountain. Again, this was moving a mountain. I know it's a mountain that we had to buy, but it was been talked about for decades, and it's going to be beautiful. And every piece of property, I don't care what people tell you, is under threat for development. So if we don't preserve it and we don't actively try to fight for it, we're going to lose it. So real property was front and center. Paul Wiley sold 20 properties. These are things, we don't want to be in the land baron business unless it's for something for the public enjoyment. Sold 15 leftover properties, implemented a new tax processing system with IT to replace an outdated one we've been using, working with county departments for the Armory and the Maple Building. We're restructuring, re-signing, working with DPW to move our workers into a better environment. This stuff is happening right now. And then we rented out 2 of our unoccupied houses over Thomas Bull Park. These are all things that matter at the end of the day. You'll see the school building in the middle right. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm almost there, folks. Stay with me. Number of parcels, the sun's setting anyway, so you're not missing any. You missed it already. The number of parcels of delinquent property. So this is when I tell you, I give you numbers whether they're good or bad. This is a good barometer. This means that people are not losing their houses. When 2008, when we were worried about our neighbors losing their houses and the bank foreclosing on houses, and we started seeing these numbers go in a different direction, they came from out in the stratosphere, they're now progressively gone down. This is a good barometer of a healthy county. New initiatives. So the highest tax increase last year was the town of Chester. I lived there, and I know I mentioned Chester a lot, but we do a lot. We show a lot of love around the county. But I'm the county exec from Chester. We're going to talk about Chester for a minute. The Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. I wanted to purchase it a couple of years ago, but the town of Chester was one of the bidders, so I backed out. I didn't want to raise the price more than it was. Chester's had it. High tax increase last year for the town, so I called up the supervisor and said, "Why don't you guys get out of the business and entertain selling the county the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center?" And here's why. The building is over 30 years old. It needs major infrastructure investments. Just imagine your house. Furnace 30 years old. HVAC system 30 years old. The siding, the roof. That's not being done right now. In addition, I don't need to fight to make a profit to keep this, right? Why not bring in, we have a third of the Broadway actors or people that work in the Broadway system live in Orange County. We talk to them on a regular basis. They would bring traveling shows like Wicked and some of these other ones down to here, And why not offer free shows for our senior citizens? And then free workshops for our young men and women that want to get into the field. If we don't have to worry about profit there, we can do these initiatives that are for the greater good. I don't make money when we have the Veterans Affairs Office rent out a movie theater for veterans. It's a good service to provide to those folks that serve their country. Why not look at something like this that we use on a regular basis, by the way, for graduations for fire and police, and use it and invest in money in it. They're not building these on a regular basis. And you want to put this up for the private to be purchased, and people say that they can make it work with a cupcake sale. It's not happening. Everybody knows it, and I am going to be proposing to the legislature. We've had discussions on it already, the county legislature and I, but we haven't fleshed out all the intimate dollars and cents it costs. But I think that if the county does not purchase this property, it'll either fall into disrepair or fall into the wrong hands and maybe not be used as a gem that could be used for a diamond in the rough that it's not being utilized for right now. So let's see with that. Consumer affairs, these are initiatives, these are on my mind right now besides some of the other things I mentioned. We've had a a director of consumer affairs vacancy for a couple of years now. And the purpose of consumer affairs is protect the people. Make sure when you get a cup of coffee, you're getting 16 ounces and not 10 ounces. You're getting the right mixture of gas, so on and so forth. I would like a different person. I would want somebody to advocate for the people, but I also need somebody to really advocate for businesses and approve and help them. Whether it be the state, the county, the local government, federal government, our businesses are under a tremendous pressure to survive right now, to get approvals. It takes 9 months to get a liquor license from the state. And when you apply for the liquor license from New York State, the application goes to Philadelphia. I don't know why a New York State liquor license goes to Philadelphia from here, but that's another story. But if we had somebody not only working to protect the consumer, but also protect the businesses, without a successful business, people are not going to be living here. So I'm going to be actively looking for somebody, and if you're looking for a job right now and you think you have what it takes, that's a job that I'm going to be looking to fill in the near future. Internship program, I talked about it. It gives young men and women a chance to get their hands on government experience, whether working in emergency management or finance or wherever. It's going to be great. Here's the Maple Avenue School in the village of Chester. I think it's about 100 years old or over. It's got everything going wrong with it. It's got lead problems, asbestos problems. It's been falling apart for the last couple of years. It's probably haunted. So I drive by it all the time with my kids, and I said, we should do something with that. And the school district was getting a lot of pressure. They wanted to demo it. It made sense for them to just demo it and sell it as an empty lot. I see potential in it. So we made a deal with the school. I closed on it on Monday for $1. My son tried to offer the school superintendent $5, but I'd already signed the deal. And that's him there. He was a little disappointed that he had $5 in his pocket. But what we're going to do with that, and that is a mixture of people, not only school district, but business professionals, people that represent industries and education opportunities. We're going to stabilize the building, renovate the building, and we have people right now going to Rensselaer tonight and tomorrow, because about a year ago we went and toured their community college. They have a beautiful high-tech educational building in Rensselaer. They also have the School of Nanotech in Albany. We're going to take what they have there, take new modern standards, and we're going to implement it there and open that as a school to train the future in the business field. What does that mean? Advanced manufacturing, AI, all the high-tech jobs that these new companies are going to require, we can train here. We have some of the employers right now, companies that are looking, they're like, when can we start renting some space in this county building? When can we start teaching at this building? So we're going to be working in high gear. I have to thank Glenn Ellers and also Paul Ruskevich, and also Joe Menuda, who personally advocated with all the legislators to make this happen. The legislators, using their expertise in construction, engineering, architecture, came out and said, all right, I think this thing has potential, and that's what we're going to do with it. The last thing is critical infrastructure mapping. What does that mean, County Executive? I told you my biggest fear is an active shooter situation in the county. We are going to be working with a company we're going to be putting out for RFP, and this is another trend that's going around the country. Most of the schools are old. Most of the hospitals are old. I think St. Luke's turns 150 years this year. The buildings have had additions, subtractions, change. A closet is now a waiting room or whatever. We don't know what we're getting into. So what we're going to utilize is this new program for digital mapping. You go in after hours or when the schools aren't busy. So when a cop, a fireman, or an EMS show up, they know exactly what they're getting into, what the building layout is. And I also want to use this for other critical infrastructure, maybe our hospitals, maybe our malls, right? I want to make sure that all our first responders have exactly everything that's available when they respond to an emergency. So that's it, guys. We have less debt. We have a smaller size government. We have a lower tax rate. We're taking less money from the public. We have safer schools. We're continuing to invest in safety in our schools. We have a major investment in our infrastructure that's not stopping. Our Orange County Department of Emergency Management is legendary and is the envy of every department in the Northeast. And we're protecting and preserving open space and taking care of our parks. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching on Facebook. Thank you for everybody that came out here in person. And most importantly, thank you to the taxpayers for allowing the 2,000 plus employees and myself to be able to serve you and provide you the services that I think that we're doing a great job at. And we're going to continue to fight for you. Thank you. And that's it.